Hello photographers, my name is Spyros Heniadis and this is like the 10th take of this video. So we're just going to get right into the question, which comes from Victor Rivera, and I'm going to try to get through it without screwing up too much this time. See, Victor was watching this video right here where I talk about taking this photo and how I use studio strobes in order to take this shot. And I use studio strobes because they're super powerful, which allows me to set my camera settings in a way that controls the exposure of the sun, because the sun was very, very bright on this day. So before I can answer the question, and before I even tell you the question, I want to explain a couple things to you. Number one, when you're shooting with flash, you have your three settings on your camera: your ISO, your aperture, and your shutter speed. And when you're shooting in an environment where you have two different light sources, one of which is a continuous light source like the sun that shines continuously throughout the entire exposure, and one that flashes instantaneously while you take the picture, which is why we call flashes flashes, your different settings on the camera control the light differently. See, your ISO and your aperture will change the exposure for both the ambient light and for the flash that goes off in the shot. So what that means is if you were to change your ISO or your aperture, it will make the image brighter or darker for both light sources. But your shutter speed works differently, because the shutter speed is a period of time. And while the shutter speed is open, it is continuously being exposed to the light source that is continuous. In the case of this photo that I took, the sun. But the entire time that the shutter is open, the flash only flashes once for a very short, brief period of time. What that means is the shutter speed can control the continuous light source independent of the flash. And this is a good thing in flash photography, because that means you can change how bright or how dark the continuous light source is without changing how bright or how dark the flash is in your photo, allowing you to control exactly how your photo looks. So I told you all of that because I needed to answer Victor's question, which is this: in regards to overpowering the bright sun, could you have used your flashes in high-speed sync mode to achieve the same effect that you got with the strobes? And the answer to that is no, I could not. Now, if you don't know how high-speed sync works, watch this video right here. High-speed sync, in a nutshell, allows you to shoot at a faster shutter speed than you normally can with flash. So the reason high-speed sync is useful is if you're outside in a situation like I was with the truck, and you want to make the ambient light, the light from the sun, darker, you can use your shutter speed at a higher speed in order to make the sunlight darker, right? So instead of shooting the shot at 1/250th, which is what I shot it at, I could have shot it at 1/500th if I was using a flash with high-speed sync. But the problem here is that what high-speed sync does is pulse the flash multiple times during the exposure. In order to do that pulsing, the overall power of the flash is greatly diminished because it has to fire multiple times in a fraction of a second. So in that situation, I could not have used my Speedlights in high-speed sync in order to achieve the same result, because they would not have been powerful enough even if I had my aperture open to, say, f2.8. And this is the problem, right? I could have increased my shutter speed in order to bring the sunlight down to a darker level where I wanted it. But in order for the flash to be power enough, because it's pulsing at that diminished power rate, I'd have to open up my aperture significantly, which is going to let all of the sunlight back in that I just blocked out with the shutter speed. So with high-speed sync, in that situation, it doesn't work. And part of the reason it doesn't work is because the truck is such a big subject. See, the lights are positioned fairly far from the subject because this shot was a fairly wide shot, and I obviously don't want the lights in the photo itself. But if you were taking a portrait of, say, a person where you could position the light much closer to them, high-speed sync could definitely work in a situation like that, because by bringing the light much closer, it will be more powerful even though the actual output of the light is diminished. So the bottom line is that in the situation I was shooting with that truck, I couldn't use high-speed sync because I had to have the lights so far away that they would just not flat out be powerful enough. But for shooting smaller subjects in that kind of situation, it could definitely work. Now, this is all going to be part of my flash photography series, which I am still working on, and I apologize, I'm behind on it. after my mother-in-law passed away. Things got derailed, so it is coming, and I appreciate all of your patience with me. Now, if you have questions about flash photography or anything else, leave them down in the comments. And then do me a favor, would you like this video and subscribe to my channel? If you really like this video, share it with your friends. But the most important thing you guys need to do is just get out there and take some damn photos already. I'll see you... I don't know when I'll see you. Today's question comes from Victor Rivera, who says...